This is Adam Pratt with the Game Grid Arcade and ArcadeHeroes.com, and I'm here just to give you a review of Terminator Salvation Arcade, which we got in just about a week ago. Let me line that up properly so you can see that. Again, this is at my arcade, the Game Grid Arcade in West Valley City, Utah. Just a brief rundown of the history of the game. First was rumored to be coming out in, we heard about it in March 2009 as a rumor on Arcade Heroes. And then we first saw it in test, I believe it was in July of that year, and it was unveiled at IAPA last year. We first got to see it, play it, all that good stuff, and it's evolved a little bit since then. Of course, all games do that as they're tested and they get player input, all that good stuff. And then finally the game was released in April 2009 officially. There were some places that got it before that. And then we got it here, and of course the game has been selling really, really well all over the world. Not just in the United States, but there have been different locations in Europe that have picked it up, and Japan even. The game's done really well in Japan, which is unusual for an American-made arcade game. Now, you might be asking, why did it take so long for them to release Terminator Salvation in arcades when the movie came out in May of 2009, and the game's coming out in April 2010. And of course, the console version came out around the time of the movie as well. And I asked the makers of the game about that, and they basically just said it's because they wanted to get the game done right. They wanted it to be as good as possible, as perfect as they could make it. And I think it shows. It's good that they didn't worry about releasing it around the time of the movie and just took their time. And one really nice thing about the people behind this game is some of the people involved, such as George Petro, worked on Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the arcade game, the one with the mounted guns. And many of the people that have worked on this game have also developed other light gun titles, such as Carnival, Aliens Extermination, they've worked on the Big Buck Hunter series, so they've had a bit of practice with making light gun games. Now you also might be asking, well, don't movie games suck? And that's generally true, especially on consoles, where I personally think that the reason why a lot of movie games suck is because the movie itself is produced to have a certain pace and to give you that particular story, whereas in a video game where you have a console game, you can sit down with it for hours and the pacing is not the same. And then, of course, a lot of times they're rushed and end up not being good, but in arcades it's not always true. If you look at the history of movie games in the arcade, it actually has a pretty good track record. You have Tron, which actually made more money as an arcade game than the movie actually made. And Discs of Tron, I thought Kroll was a pretty good movie game. Terminator 2, which I mentioned earlier, this as well. So at least in the arcades, because they have the pacing, they can just keep the action going. Now let me show you the cabinet here. So very, very impressive cabinet. In fact, probably one of the most impressive arcade cabinets that we've seen around in a while. Of course, Raw Thrills, who are the makers of this, and I guess I should have brought that up earlier when I was talking about some of the people that developed this. Raw Thrills is a company headed by Eugene Jarvis, who of course is a legend in video games, as he's developed a number of legendary arcade titles: Defender, Robotron, Smash TV, Narc, Cruisin' USA, many others. And so they're the ones who produced the cabinet, got the licensing done for it. Mechanix are the developers. And so that's where this is coming out of. And they've been doing a really good job lately with creating very attractive cabinet designs with a lot of extra lighting on them that you might not see with other things. And of course, H2 Overdrive was a cabinet that had a lot of cool lighting effects on it as well, using LEDs. Here's a look at the gun itself, the larger deluxe guns. And So one of the unique features of this game is, while you can set it to shoot off screen to reload, it actually has this button here on the bottom which you can hit to reload, and it's actually a little easier when it's like that. Button on the side for shooting grenades, then you just hold the trigger down. Has a shoulder strap to put it around you so you can have that extra support, and of course you can play 2 people at the same time. Sound system's pretty good. You got your 3 speakers. Here's a subwoofer in the center there. And so game is here. It's 4 tokens to start, 2 to continue. It's 4 tokens per dollar here. So basically $1 to start, 50 cents to continue. There's also a bill acceptor on it that you can just use that to throw in there. And I'm going to then start the game, but I'm going to put that in part 2. That way I have enough time to play the game without having to worry about cutting this short, or in the middle of playing anyway. So just check my YouTube channel for part 2 where I actually play the game.